Hello anybody, and welcome back to Let's Play Banjo-Kazooie. I'm Mr. Devious, or just Deeb, and in the last episode we got the first 6 Jiggies of Gobi's Valley, and in today's episode we are going to be getting the rest of them. We already learned the running shoes move, so I'm just running back to where we were last episode, where we failed to get one of the Jiggies because I was just a terrible person. So Gobi's Valley, as I've said in the last episode, has a lot of emphasis on these buildings that have like various things in them. And I could have gotten to that door faster, and I don't like how it takes the camera away from you and kind of disorients you before it does that. Also, I'm surprised we aren't sealed in here forever. Anyway, we're back at this match game where we screwed up in the last episode, and I'm gonna do this really quickly because, really... Also, if you want to take care of this Mum so it's not chasing you around for the entire match game, use the Wonder Wing. And you pretty much take care of that entirely.
So I might fast forward, I might just do this really quickly because now I shouldn't have that hard of a time remembering where everything is after the embarrassment that was last episode. I mean, really, come on. I was just not even trying very hard and that was just kind of stupid. That was really dumb. Anyway, this should be a kind of a really fast thing. Now that we've done it, like, look at this. I'm basically going 1 for 1 and doing everything perfectly. Am I gonna mess up here? Yes. Oh, I was so close. Oh well. Guess I don't really need to cut anything then because, well, we did that in about a good 30 seconds.
I mean, I could reasonably cut that, but I'm not going to. Anyway, enough meta talk. We're gonna get ourselves our Jiggy and head out of this terrible place. With only 3 Jiggies left to go, and now that we've done stuff with most of the outer perimeter of the level, we are actually going to jump down there. I know we shouldn't, but I'm going to, and you know why? Is because I want to deal with something up in the air that we activated in the last episode, and that was one of the honeycomb pieces, and one of the honeycomb pieces just so happens to be right here, right in the mouth of this cactus. My best advice for dealing with this is to just kind of fly at it. You shouldn't do the beak bomb like I just did. That was a bad idea, because you probably will take damage and you will regret it. Anyway, we're actually going to go and get the other honeycomb piece right now because I know exactly where it is, and since we're in the air anyway, this is the most convenient way to deal with it. And coming over here, we still have Gobi. Gobi, who at the end of the last episode, we freed and then we knocked the water out of him. And he doesn't like it when we jump on him, and if we hit him again...
Ah, that's it. I'm leaving this desert to find some peace and quiet.
And he runs down a sheer cliff. That is the last we'll see of Gobi, or will it be? And with that, we get another unit of health, up to a solid 8. And since we're coming in here anyway, I might as well show this off. This is, of course, another stop and swap area. Usually this area would be sealed by a door you couldn't get past, but of course if you use a cheat, or own both Kazooie and Tooie on the Xbox Live version of the game, this area will be open and there will be a blue egg inside that sarcophagus. So thought I'd show that off, and then just leave. Tell me, should I show off these stop and swap areas since there's no egg in them, and since I can't show off what the stop and swap items do? I burned myself. That was genius. Like, tell me in the comments if you like, or in person, or whatever. Just do it however you want, or not at all. No pressure. No pressure at all. So now that we still have about 3 Jiggies to go, I think I know how I'm going to go about doing these. First, we're going to roll away from this Slappa, who we will gore. This is one of the bloodiest worlds in the game, too, if only for that enemy. We're going to take these boots. Well, these aren't really boots, these are shoes. Shoes just doesn't sound as good as boots. Get the boots. I'll stop. We want to actually get up here, and this actually is one of the hardest little race moments in the game. What you want to do for this is you want to kind of cut corners, but you also want to get these notes, and you might not be able to do this on your first try. In fact, you probably won't be able to do this on your first try if you go for the notes, because the timing on this is extremely strict, and oh, so close.
Grunty's race you cannot beat until you find some faster feet.
I do have fast feet, it's just, you know, it's really hard. Like, it's really unforgiving. But yeah, my advice would be to just cut corners as much as you can, and especially when you're going up these levels from level to level on certain areas, you want to kind of jump across and that is your best way to do it. I guess I could meet you at the top, but this is gonna take like less than 5 seconds, or less than 10 seconds now, so what's even the point of cutting? So yeah, that is the way you want to do it. In fact, I think you might have to do it that way, because look at that. It's so strict. And we come into this area flooded with water. You want to get that Mumbo token right away, because if you clear out this area without getting rid of it, and there's a smiley face at the bottom. Because as soon as you get this Jiggy, something will happen. The water will open, or the door will open. And where will the water flood? It'll flood around this center area. How's that for a cutscene? No point in wasting gold feathers on these Mums, since you can outrun them, even though there's 3 of them. However, there are 3 of them, and I do feel cruel, so... That's just satisfying. I will say the Wonder Wing is one of the most satisfying... is possibly the... It's a very satisfying invincibility move, if just for how it explodes enemies, even ones that are normally invincible. Now, as I've said before, I do find it interesting... Is this door gonna do it? Well, I guess some temples in this world will close their doors after you're done in them, but others will keep them open, and that's kind of inconsistent, and I don't know why. I'm just kind of hanging around because I'm not sure if it's going to actually do it or not. Anyway, since we flooded the water in here, we can now swim down here. And the water has washed away the sand and turned it into these vines or something. I don't know what is with this texture, what this is supposed to be, and we want to swim around this inner edge. Now, I said in a previous episode that Banjo-Kazooie is usually pretty good about putting notes on the path, like on your game path, and not putting them out of the way where they kind of waste your time and making you go out of your way to get them. And this isn't really like that big of a deal. It doesn't take you that long to pick all these up, but it's still interesting because usually, as a collectathon, as a short collectathon, to be precise, one of the best parts about Banjo-Kazooie is that it respects your time. It respects your time, and it doesn't usually make you waste your time going out of your way to pick stuff up like other collectathons might do. I mean, I do love Banjo-Tooie and DK64 a lot more than most people do, but a lot of people don't like those games because of just how much of their time is spent gathering arbitrary items or seemingly arbitrary objects and going out of their way to just grab them, and it's not satisfying for them because the game seems like it's just wasting your time making you go back and forth and getting this stuff, and I get that. Banjo-Kazooie doesn't really do that so much. Anyway, you can see what we're doing here as we feed these sphinxy, jinxy heads eggs, as we feed them eggs, of course, things are happening on the little centerpiece above. Oh, hold on. Come on. There we go. Of course, now that you're on this third one, the platform you gotta stand on is quite small. But that shouldn't really be an issue because you should be standing still while you do this. In any case, because when you're launching eggs, you lock position. You don't move around, so you shouldn't be moving around. You should be planting your feet anyway. So I don't know why it's really a big deal that they make those platforms tiny. I don't know why they do it. So with that, we only have a few notes left, and I think, are we down to 1 or 2 Jiggies left in this world? I think we're down to 2, but I'm gonna check real quickly. Yep, 7 notes, 2 Jiggies, and actually we're gonna be getting the last 2 Jiggies both in here. So, let's head on in.
This is King Sandybot Stone. Turn back or face his wrath.
Ah, what's the worst that could happen? I mean, they're not gonna stop me.
You chose not to heed our warning. Prepare to run.
This is kind of a scary moment in Banjo-Kazooie. And you might be saying, this isn't scary, Mr. Devious. This is just kind of silly. And you're right. In a way, it is silly. But the counter is counting down quite quickly, and we need to get to the end. But we don't want to get to the end too soon because there's actually a witch switch in here. And you want to be on your toes or on your talent trot to get around here more quickly. And if you're listening to the music, this is part of why this place is so scary. Also, we're opening a sarcophagus in the main lair, is the music is going to just pick up and get faster and faster and faster, and oh my god, we only have like 10, 12 seconds left. Oh god. Oh, jeez. And before we exit and escape, you might be wondering what is threatening us? That! Oh god. Ah!
No, the bear survived. He's after the king's ancient relic.
Also, we got all the notes. You found all 100 notes on this world. Well done! And, of course, this tomb opens with the last Jiggy in the world, but we're not going to get that yet. In fact, we're just going to be jumping into these filthy vases, which I do not appreciate, because in one of them there's just a Jinjo hanging out. And that is where we get that Jiggy. And this is where we get the 10th. And with that, we have finished up, as we clip through the sarcophagus, we have finished up Gobi's Valley. Yes, dance, my peons! So now it's time for us to head out, but it is not the end of the episode, because Hi, Kazooie Face! It is not the end of the episode, because there is one more major thing that we have to do. And by which that, I mean we are not done with this set of 3 worlds in the middle. We have to go back to Freezeezy Peak. This is kind of what I meant when I was talking about Freezeezy Peak and Gobi's Valley kind of being together as a package, is that you kind of need one move. We're not going to talk to Brentilda this time. I don't really care to, and I don't want to waste too much time on this episode. So yeah. This is kind of what I mean by these worlds being a mixed package, is that you need moves from both worlds to complete the other, and you can unlock them relatively around the same time. They're very close to each other, and in fact the 6th world is a floor lower than the 5th world, so it just feels like these worlds kind of come together as a duo. That's the feeling I get from it anyway, and even though I don't really like the idea that you need to get one move from one world to get the last Jiggy in another, not so much just for the basic principle of that. Like, I'm alright with the idea of backtracking to certain areas with new power-ups like in Metroid, but in this game this is the only instance in which it happens, and I'm not super fond of that method of doing it. So there are actually 2 Jiggies we can get, and the first we're gonna get is by going back into Freezeezy Peak. Screw you! Screw you! Anyway, you may have remembered at the end of Freezeezy Peak, before we could finish up all of our business here, that Boggy was, after we beat Boggy as a walrus, he said he should race someone his own size. And by that, he is right here.
Hey, buddy. Fancy a race against Boggy? Press A to accept or B to chicken out.
I'm not chickening out.
Okay, buddy. Here's the rules. Run through the red slot.
Yeah, we've done this before, and as you can see, you do need the running shoes to do this. You could accept the challenge, but if you do, you wouldn't be able to do it. You wouldn't be able to get the shoes, and then Boggy would immediately outrun you and win. Now this one is actually a lot faster than the race as the walrus, and Boggy is a fair bit more challenging to beat this time around. So we got to go around these slalom gates, try to get a lead on him, but don't be too obsessed with it. It's still a pretty easy mission to do, especially if you make tight turns and tight curves. It's no real big deal. And of course, remember that when you're going up slopes, to jump up the slopes so you don't waste much time ascending them. However, he does speed up here, it feels like, so try to keep in front of him, but if he does pass you, just remember that it's actually really easy to pass him towards the end when you go up the final slopes. Oh god, I probably lost. Yeah. Oh jeez. Crap. Crap baskets! Get back here! No! Crap.
Hard luck, buddy. But old Boggy wins this time.
Well, I'll do that again. At least they warp you back here so you can try again.
Come on, buddy, try again. I'll try to make it close this time.
Not this time. We got this. We've totally got this. Or do we? They make it very close at the end.
Oh, I lost again. Take my other medal. I'm off to look for my kids' presents.
Already taking care of it, dude. And with that, we get the last Jiggy of Freezeezy Peak, which is the other medal, as he called it. And we do our dance. However, again, we are not done with this episode because there's one more Jiggy we can get with the running shoes, and that is actually the Witch Switch Jiggy. For this world, anyway. And that's another interesting thing, is that you need the move from Gobi's Valley to get the Witch Switch Jiggy of, Freezeezy Peak, which again ties into my the worlds are interconnected theory. I think this is a very valid theory, because of how much you need the moves from each other to just kind of mix them together. And we flew into the wall nearly, and we're actually going to pop in here because if we do, we can see Boggy is now finally back at home and taking responsibility.
I wish those kids would be quiet. All Boggy needs some sleep.
You didn't even... Worst father. Worst father. And that closes out the Boggy saga for this game. We've gotten all the Jiggies from him and his kids, a total of 4 Jiggies that you actually get from them collectively, so that's nearly half the Jiggies in the world associated with that family, so that's interesting. And then 3 of them are associated with the big snowman, and then there's one with a Christmas tree, and a Jinjo, and Wazza the Walrus. I don't know why I listed all these things off, but I did. So, just live with it. Now here, you want to... I don't really have any good advice for this, aside from you want to get through here as quickly as you can. And the camera will be your big enemy here, because not only do you have to get to this centerpiece, you have to jump on here and you have to use it. Thankfully, you can use the flight pad even when you have the shoes still on, and this is very important. You do not need to cancel them out and waste a moment in getting that. And by flying through this tunnel, we will open up this next area. Or, no, we won't open up this next area. We will get... I said, we will get... Oh my god, this is dumb. Ah! Well...
That ugly bear, you feathered freak, is nothing but a stupid geek.
You say that, but I've got your Jiggy, so I'm there. So now that we've done all that, we've actually done a lot in this episode, but I don't think we're done quite yet. There's one more thing that I want to do now that we've taken care of the middle 6 levels of the game. And what I want to do, even though we're getting close to a time where we should stop, is I would like to set up for the next world, because now that we're going to start the last... Now that we're going to start the last 3 worlds of the game soon, the final 3 set, I want to start getting over there, because those worlds, they're gonna get long, and they're gonna be hard. So in the interests of time, we want to get over there quickly, and oh god, nom nom nom. You will not eat me today, Mr. Mine, and then explode on me. So we come to this frozen cavern area, and the next world is not up there. No, we're not even gonna look up there. We actually want to come in here, and this will lead us to where we need to go. They're a lot more sequential with the last 3 worlds of the game and what you have to do to get through them. And this, I'm not gonna spoil it, but basically even though you could do like the middle 3 worlds kind of together or in whatever order you want, specifically the 5th and 6th worlds, these worlds, it feels very much like you need to do them in order to get them done. Anyway, we've come to this gigantic watery cavern, and this will take us up to the portrait, which will open up our next world. And I'm not going to actually walk us to the entrance in this episode because it's getting pretty long in here. So I'm just going to bring us all the way up here to this big spooky portrait with this spooky music, with a spooky name down there, and I'm going to fill in all the pieces. We still have a lot of Jiggies left. We could reasonably open up the next world of the game, but we need to do this world to open up the 8th, and this is the 7th world of the game, and possibly my favorite. It's Mad Monster Mansion. However, if you want to see this spooky, terrifying world and the entrance to it, then I will just have to see you in the next one. Or you could watch another LP, but please stick around. Maybe? Huh? Bye-bye.